I was just 17 when what little stability our family had completely shattered. The truth is, the family's disintegration started much earlier, in a way that scarred all of us forever. Our father abandoned the family as soon as the youngest child was born. My mother was then left alone, bearing the overwhelming burden of raising us without support, and life, as we knew it, was never the same for any of us. Years dragged on, and I discovered that she, my own mother, was secretly maintaining a virtual relationship with a man who lived in another state. It seemed like an innocent connection, but it foreshadowed a personal catastrophe. One day, abruptly and without any warning, she announced she was traveling to meet him. Initially, her stated intention was to stay for just 1 week. I confess that in my youthful naivete, I found the idea liberating. Having the whole house to myself for 7 days seemed like a gift. However, that promised week stretched into 2, then 3, and before we knew it, a whole month had passed since her departure. With each passing day, the family's anxiety grew. Relatives and friends constantly asked about her return, but she never offered a clear answer or a definite deadline. It was as if we had been forgotten, abandoned in an empty house, waiting for a return that seemed to never come. About 2 months later, as hope began to fade, I received a call from her. The news was a blow. She informed me she was staying permanently where she was. And the most shocking, the most cruel part, she declared that I, a mere 17-year-old, would now be solely responsible for the house and all its expenses. Fury consumed me. I immediately refused, arguing with all my might that it was absurd. But she, with a coldness that chilled my soul, insisted, claiming she no longer lived there, and therefore the burden fell on me. I screamed, my voice choked, that she needed to come back and deal with the property as it was legally in her name and absolutely not my responsibility. After my vehement refusal, she abruptly ended the call, allowing no further arguments, and ceased all contact. No messages, no calls. The silence was deafening. Concerned about the legal and financial repercussions that could arise from her irresponsibility, I packed my few belongings with a heavy heart and immediately went to my uncle's house, seeking refuge and protection. When the bills started to pile up, she, with unbelievable audacity, sent me the links for payments. I completely ignored them. Not a single cent was paid by me. Upon realizing my total inaction, she called me, her voice trembling with rage. She screamed, called me irresponsible, and threatened me with the worst legal consequences. I retorted with equal firmness that it wasn't, and never would be, my responsibility, especially now that I lived with my uncle and not on her property. Her final reply was chilling, cutting, and cruel. "I hope you end up on the streets, homeless." And once again, the call ended. The pattern of abandonment repeated itself. Even after that display of contempt, she still tried, unsuccessfully, to persuade other relatives to cover the expenses. Her stubbornness was inexplicable. She adamantly refused to sell the property, claiming she wanted to keep a safe haven or a fallback option for future visits, as if the house were a hotel at her disposal and we mere caretakers. In the end, the pressure became unbearable. Debts accumulated and the legal situation worsened. Reluctantly, she dragged herself back to our hometown with the sole purpose of selling the property. During the brief and forced period she was here, contact between us was minimal, almost non-existent. The atmosphere was heavy, laden with resentment and hurt. As soon as the house sale was finalized, she left again, without looking back, to live with her new partner. After that, our communication became even scarcer. Conversations ceased completely. Our only source of information about her life, her choices, and her whereabouts came from the superficial photos and posts she shared on social media. A hollow and distant connection. Our entire family was deeply affected and torn apart by her abandonment, a pain that compounded the existing scar left by our father. The feeling of being discarded by both parents was excruciating. It took time, a very long time, but we managed to rebuild ourselves, pick up the pieces, and move forward despite the indelible marks both abandonments left on our souls. 5 years have passed since that last significant contact, a period of relative peace in personal reconstruction. Then I received a message. It was from her, my mother, the same one who left us behind, asking, with an audacity that enraged me, if she and her new family could stay at my house. I, however, wasn't the first one she contacted in this desperate plea. She had already reached out to a number of other relatives, receiving firm rejections in every attempt. Apparently, her current situation is dire. She, who calls herself a stay-at-home mom, had her husband fired. They are now facing severe financial difficulties and are desperately looking for a place to live until they can get back on their feet. They want a safe harbor, a refuge at the expense of those they once abandoned. My answer was clear, unequivocal, and loaded with years of resentment. I unequivocally denied her request. I informed her that I have no space in my residence, and most crucially, I desire no involvement or proximity with her whatsoever. This response, as expected, was not well received. In a fit of rage and desperation, she began to publicly denounce the entire family on social media, accusing us of abandoning her in her time of need. It's an astounding hypocrisy, a complete inversion of reality. She insists that we have a duty as family to help her, ignoring completely the very abandonment she imposed on us. We even received messages from her new husband, a complete stranger to us, branding us as terrible family members. Faced with this absurd and incessant offensive, we took the only sensible action. We blocked all contact with both of them. 2 weeks have passed since then, and silence finally prevails. The peace, so hard won, has returned. If she needs a place to live, given her current situation, the most appropriate and just path for her is to consider a nursing home or an assisted living facility. After all, she made her bed, and now she must lie in it.